mates, I'm Boomerang, and welcome back to episode 2 of Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4. This episode we're going to focus mainly on increasing our industrial capacity from last episode. Remember last time we got 15 factories here, from the starting 11 I think we get, and we started production on a few things here, and our infantry divisions are nearly fully kitted out, so soon we'll have to deploy them here in West Papua to be ready for the war against the Netherlands, which will be our first target in our world domination. But without further ado, let's get right into the game, and we'll start the timer off right now, so should be fun. Now, I just noticed that we have 148 political power at the moment, so that means that 150, so that means that we can get our new political advisor. So, I was talking last time about Silent Workhorse, this guy here. He gives you a 15% political power gain buff. What that's going to do is because you start with a base value of 2 political power, one of it gets used for your national focus, but the other one goes towards political power. So basically this guy is going to give us an extra 0.3 per day, which is like a 30% boost. So that's going to be really useful in getting all of these extra government places done. So let's get him. Speaking of government, we really need to start thinking about upgrading this economy law here. Now, having civilian economy is really, really bad for everything war. Like, it gives you like 30% worse construction speed on basically civilian and military factories. It gives you 30% of your factories, of your total factories, go into civilian economy, which is really quite bad. You can see 6 of our factories are effectively like getting wasted here. So that's not good at all. So we're going to have to move on to another economy law here. So I'm thinking of going partial mobilization. Once world tension has hit 15%, we're going to choose this one right here. This will give us only 20% of our consumer goods factories 20% of our factories as consumer goods, and will give us a bit of a boost to construction speed of military factories, opposed to these really harsh D bonuses right here. So let's get into this research slot. Now, we finished off all our mechanical computing here and everything for here at the moment. So it's nearly 1937, but not close enough yet for me to do that. Let's do Marines. Now, I was talking about this last episode, but what this is going to allow us to do is just start taking some of these islands a bit faster than our standard infantry, because Marines actually get a big bonus against ports and stuff through amphibious landings. They give 50% better attack, so that's really useful. Let's get this national focus done. Now, let's go for our extra research slot. That's going to be a big boost to our research rate. And yeah, now we nearly have enough stuff to start thinking about deploying these guys, and I'm going to do that right now. So we're going to get all of our guys right here to start sitting on the border with the Netherlands here, and hopefully we'll be able to quickly take Papua New Guinea once the war starts. Now you can see them moving automatically to the front line. Now that's the good thing about these battle plans, is it basically automates things for you. This makes it that much easier to control like large amounts of units. Now, what I always do, and what you should always do when you're playing, is always have an offensive line, even when you're defending. What this does is it slowly builds your troops' planning right here. And what this planning bonus does is it basically gives you a bonus of 50%, I think, to everything, really. You can see it takes some time for this bar to build up, but once it's at full, your troops have full planning, and they basically just roll over all the enemies, which is super useful. Especially on a front like up the border between Germany and Russia eventually. It's just so much easier to get that planning bonus up and then just push through when it's full. So yeah, that's a really good thing to have. We've got an extra modifier government guy here, so let's get that done. We can't really do anything up in the laws and government here. These guys kind of all suck, and since we're going fascist, it's no use going one of these guys. So I'm thinking of picking an industrial concern because we're mainly building our industry here. I like to go electronics concern, and that's because basically these techs give a research boost. So getting these early will basically help all of the other research things go faster. So that being said, we're going to get a 10% research time boost to all of these techs here. We have a free tech, so we're going to probably put that into one of these industrial techs. As I said last video, it's always good to keep your industry going. I think we should go for improved machine tools. This will give us a production efficiency cap of plus 10%. That's going to help us produce things a bit faster, and building it up will mean that we'll get the production efficiency up early, because this takes a bit of time to boost up. We may as well do it earlier rather than later. So let's do that. Now you can see that we actually got our second slot right here because of our national focus. Now that's going to be huge for just researching a lot of things. So let's get concentrated industry 2. That's going to be the same as the one we did before. So once you get all 5 of these, it's going to give you 100% factory output, 100% max factories in a state. That's going to be really, really good for just building up our industry even more. And now we've got our national focus. What I really want to do now is go naval effort, and I'll tell you why. Australia is basically it's isolated, and we need to ship mass amounts of troops around across the ocean. And guys like the United Kingdom have very strong navies. You can see in the details thing here, you can see the details of the country, and you can see they have 242 ships versus my, 9 here, plus the submarines up here. So we're at a huge disadvantage. We need to get our navy up to shape, and naval effort gives you 3 more naval dockyards, which is really, really big. After that, I'm going to go construction effort 2. This gives us an extra 2 civilian factories, and this will allow us to just start making a lot more of military factories and civilian factories at the moment. Maybe some dockyards that will help us build our navy even more. But yes. Now, these guys are all in position. It's looking good. There's 1 Dutch soldier here protecting this province, but I'm pretty sure that these guys are going to just roll right through him. Alright, Hindenburg disaster, that kind of sucks. This one is just a world news thing that comes up, and he can either have a near miss or a disaster. So I think Earhart's going to come up soon, so let's keep an eye out for that. Now, we've got our naval effort. This gives us an extra 3 naval dockyards, as I said, and we're going to go for construction effort 3. Now let's start picking what we're going to build with those dockyards. I'm thinking of getting a surface vessel fleet, so we're gonna stop building submarines until we get the next tier of submarines here. I think we should probably give our navy a big look over soon enough once we get all these industrial techs done. But once we get the tier 2 submarine, we'll have a look at that. But for now, we want to get some surface vessels. So I'm gonna build heavy cruisers. Now what these guys are is they're basically the capital ship for minor nations, and that's because you start out with you don't really have that many dockyards, and building a battleship or something, this takes years. So building heavy cruisers is a pretty good stopgap between the battleships and the destroyers and stuff. So we're going to go for a heavy cruiser. Now the Canberra class and the Hawkins class are both heavy cruisers of the same tier, and some nations start out with 2 options here as a start. I don't really get why they do this, but usually the top version is superior. You can see that, for example, naval firepower is 0.6 higher on the Canberra class, so we're going to go for that. Now, I don't want to build any more submarines, but there's already half a submarine made, and it'd be a waste if we just deleted this line, because we'd lose all that production that went into building half a submarine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this button. What it's going to do is it's going to make one submarine, and after that it's going to close the line, so we won't waste anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put 5 shipyards here, which will, so since we only have 3 in this, the extra 2 will be queued up, and once they are, once they exist, for instance, once these 2 get freed up, they'll jump on this one, and it'll make it a bit faster. Alright, now, let's start thinking about what we're going to research after Marines 1. Now, I'm thinking of doing a land doctrine, and what that's going to do for us is it's going to give us a huge bonus to max planning, since we picked the Grand Battle Plan Doctrine. Actually, it comes by default. Now, what doctrines are, is they're basically it's how you customize your military. You can choose one of these 4, and they also have like different branches in them. For example, these 2 options in the end of Blitzkrieg, this one gives you a lot of extra recruitable population, increase your manpower up. I haven't talked about manpower yet, but I'll get into it. And this one just gives you huge buffs to attack and stuff. So a lot of varied options, but Grand Battle Plan, which I have at the moment, this one's a good all-rounder, I think. It helps with basically everything through the use of planning your assaults and getting the maximum buffs from your planning, and just different organisation bonuses. So I think this is the best one for Australia, and it picked it out as a default, so that's pretty good. Getting this tech will give us a max planning of plus 30%. It'll increase it to 80%, which means we'll get an 80% attack and defense bonus to all of our divisions once they're fully planned. So even though it takes 270 days, I think it's a good investment. Now, we've got free civilian factories here, and they're going to waste at the moment, so let's probably go get a military factory in Queensland and a civilian factory in Victoria. I think that will be the wisest decision. I usually only queue up a few things at once, just because I like to, stay pretty current with what's needed at the moment. Now, it looks like our submarine was finished, and yes, it has, and it's put all of its shipyards towards the heavy cruiser here. And you'll notice we're running low on steel. Now, you start off with a lot of steel as Australia, but not enough if you want to start building big ships like the heavy cruiser, because they're pretty iron hungry at the moment, or steel hungry. So we're going to do a trade with the US of A, and we're going to get a bit more steel. I think that would be the wisest choice. But yes, let's have a look how the planning bonus on these guys are going. Pretty well. They should probably just roll over these guys here, so yeah, that's not going to be much resistance happening right there. I think... oh wait, modify government. Okay, so since we're going to invest in a bit of navy during this playthrough, I think getting a ship designer will be beneficial. Just getting all of those newer models of ships done pretty quick. That might be a good choice. Remember, we're going, once world tension is 15%, which it should be pretty soon, I hope. We're going to go straight to partial mobilization. That will give us the bonuses I talked about previously. But for now, ship designer would be really ideal. But yes, things are going really well. Now this is big. It looks like an event has come up for a fascist coup. Yeah, this option here will start a civil war, and I do not want that. It looks like the people aren't ready to just go over to fascism and just, no wars, just a gradual transition. So what we're going to do is they must unite the people first, then rule them. What that does is it just gives us a bit more time, and we won't have a civil war. But yes, things are going well. Now, once we get fascism in Australia, what we're going to do is we're going to straight away right click, and we have the choice. Oh, it looks like Amelia Earhart has actually succeeded in circumnavigating the globe. It's a pretty cool little newsletter that comes up, and gives a bit of timeline thing. All right. But yes, as I was saying, Justify War Goal will be available as a fascist or communist once there's like no world tension or anything. So we'll go for that. Alright, improved machine tools is done. Let's get construction 2 underway. That'll give us a 10% construction speed bonus, which is quite good. Looks like this military factory is going along pretty nicely. I think I'm going to invest that into support equipment. That'll allow us to get engineers and stuff like that into our divisions. Speaking of getting stuff into divisions, to do so you need to click edit on these guys, and you can change the divisions up given that you have enough XP. Now, I don't have any XP for my military at the moment, mostly because Australia doesn't start off with a theorist for military, which is quite crappy. So what we're going to do is you can make your troops exercise. It'll use whatever equipment they have, but what it'll do is it'll make it a lot. It'll make it so you can actually upgrade your stuff, and it'll actually give them experience so they can level up to the next level. So the next level is regular, and they get like a 10% combat bonus. Pretty good stuff. So this button will enable exercise. They'll lose all their organization, but it's worth it. Alright, we've got our national focus here. This is very good for us because this gives a bit more world tension. It'll allow us to move to partial mobilization when it's 15%. Yeah, it looks like the Japanese and the Chinese aren't very happy with each other. They're probably going to start a war any day now. And it looks like the Soviet Union's having a bit of trouble in their leadership, but that's good for us because we're going to be fascist and we want the Germans to win. But yes, national focus. I'm probably going to go armament effort just to get a bit more production, but I like to go down this route here. Nationalism, the nationalism tree here is crazy good for getting a bit more manpower, and by a bit more I mean like tons. You get a 5% recruitable population here, which will give Australia like 500,000 people to go into the slaughter, and this one gives another 2%, which is super good. And down here we get another research slot, which might be good. We need to be in a faction though, but that won't be too hard. Germans want as many countries to go along with them as they can. Alright, armament effort looks good, so let's get that. It really is a good looking game, Hearts of Iron 4. Like, it's a really simplistic game, but it just, it does miracles with, how it simulates just crazy amounts of history. I love it. Oh, it looks like the British are sending people through here. What the hell? Hopefully they're not gonna do anything with me, even though we're in an alliance with them, so what am I on about? It looks like... fascist assault divisions. That sounds pretty crazy. Jeez. Yes, okay, so this means we just get a bit more recruitable population. Means that we're getting ever closer to that day when we finally turn fascist. It was funny because back when the game was released, this fascist Australia was also was actually called Empire of the Platypus, which is kind of unhistorical, but whatever. Okay, so we've got no divisions in basic training because we've got a bit more manpower here, so we can start training some guys. Now we got our Marines. I forgot about this. So straight away we should start getting a few divisions of Marines queued up here. I'm gonna give us about, I think 4 is a good number. That will allow us to have two groups of two divisions of Marines, just to take out these islands simultaneously, which will be really good. Alright. Now, extra research slot is available. Let's go for... Okay, so all of our industrial techs are done for now until 1939, so that's going to allow us to just go straight military for the rest of the time until then. So I think we should probably start thinking about either navy or infantry. I think we're going to go for navy. We're going to go for the Surrey class. That's the next heavy class cruiser, and that will be really good for Australia because we need to get that navy up stat. But yes. Anyways, that's all that we have time for today, but I hope you guys all have a good day, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.